Okay, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Marv De Leon of Freelance Blend, and we have this is another episode of our podcast, the Freelance Blend podcast, the premier podcast for Pinoy freelancers. And with me right now is a very special guest, as always. This guy I met in one of the talks that I had for the DICT. I believe that was for the yung mga visually impaired, and I was one of the speakers, and this guy was also one of the speakers, and I heard this story. But matagal na to, medyo, I think it was a year ago pa. And so I got his business card, and I promised to get in touch with him for an interview. Kaya lang, syempre, maraming nangyari in between last year and this year. So ngayon lang natuloy finally yung aming interview. So this guy who you see in your screens right now, sa mga podcast listeners natin, I encourage you also to watch our video after in YouTube. So this guy is the founder and CEO of Virtualahan. Virtualahan is a tech social enterprise that builds an ecosystem for people with disabilities to thrive and to become leaders of our society and contribute to the building of the future of work where no one is left behind. Virtualahan is the winner of Google Business Stories Award and Lenovo Outstanding Tech Visionary Award for using technology for impact and counts international companies as partners. Wow. He's a global shaper of the Davao Hub, an initiative of the World Economic Forum, Global Good Fund, and DO School Fellow, an Asia Pacific Future Maker, and a Global Facilitator at Changemaker Exchange. Wow, ang dami niyang talagang ginagawa at such a young age. So without further ado, we have with us Mr. Ryan Gersava. So good evening, Ryan.
Good evening, Marv, and good evening to everyone listening to this podcast and to everyone watching this video.
Hmm. So you are now in Davao?
I am currently in BGC, yes. So
Okay.
July is the National Disability Prevention and Rehabilitation Month, and we are doing a big project with BMW and Mini Cooper on responsible driving. That's why I need to be in
Wow.
town to actually take care of that project.
Okay. All the while,
Mhm.
I thought you were in Davao. So, nandito ka lang pala sa
Yes.
Manila.
Mhm.
So, yung intro mo, there's a lot was in there and is in there, and you've gotten numerous awards
Mhm.
and is partnered with big companies. But first of all, we'd like to get to know who you are, who Ryan Gersava is. How did you get into this startup world,
Right.
and what made you push through with your dreams or passion at such
Mhm.
a young age? Do you mind if I ask how old are you?
Ayun, I think that's a good start. I turned 25 this year.
Wow, 25.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
talagang batang bata.
So, yeah, I'm actually the youngest of 10 in my family. So,
Okay,
medyo marami kami.
that's
Yeah.
the reason why when I check your website, yung
Mhm.
members of your team, puro Hersaba to
Mhm.
ah. So, mukhang
There
mga
you
kapatid
go.
yun, no?
Oo, kasi we are a purely bootstrap social enterprise. So when we started, we have no money. We have very little money from our pocket to start the organization. So where do you normally get volunteer help from? So the siblings, right? So that's when they actually started to join the Virtualahan volunteering when we were just starting, and they now
Mhm.
become our full-time employees.
Mhm. So yeah,
Yeah,
so you're the youngest of 10 kids.
I'm the youngest of 10.
So what yun nga, how did you start? How did you get into entrepreneurship at such a
I
young
think
age?
Yeah, and I think that's a very good like start actually, telling the story of how I got into entrepreneurship. So I'm the youngest of 10 in my family. Both of my parents are farmers, so neither of them finished high school. Kasi we grew up in Sultan Kudarat, and Sultan Kudarat is one of the first provinces in our country. So we live in a very remote community, actually, so remote that where I was born and raised, the nearest hospital would take you like 8 to 10 hours.
Wow.
And we live with like indigenous people's community,
Mhm.
really up there in the mountains. And so opportunity in those areas is very scarce. Plus, we are 10 in a family, 10 siblings. Tapos, both of my parents, having no education, believed so much in the power of it that they've invested all their energy, time, and did whatever they can do so that they can actually go to school.
Mhm.
And so on our part, since the only way for us to move to like the next level from elementary to high school to college is to be on top of the class. So most of us graduated like valedictorian in elementary and in high school so that we can actually go to college. Not
Mhm.
because we're like super smart, but we are left with no choice because you cannot go onto like the next level because education is not free in the Philippines, right?
Mhm.
And if your father is earning like less than 100 pesos per day, how would you survive?
Mhm.
So it was life was really difficult. I think my first entrepreneurial experience is selling my mother's kamote Q in school. And not just kamote Q kasi I'm selling my mother's kamote Q. I go to yung kapitbahay namin. Ako naman yung nagtitinda ng ice candy niya. And then
Mhm.
meron pa kami isang kapitbahay. Ako yung nagtitinda din ng puto niya. So
Ng
I'm also puto.
puto, okay.
Yes. So I'm also I'm also raising three goats. So I would wake up in the morning, yung goats ko ilalagay ko na dun sa sa field. Tapos that's when I prepare for school. That's when I pick up those yung mga paninda ko. And then I go home and then so normally classes ends at 4 ish. So I still have time to wash mga kasi andun kami sa mountain. So maraming mga motorsiklo
Mm.
na putik-putik na sila and then pababa sila ng city. So ako yung nagwa-wash ng marami kami group of friends. Kami yung
Oh.
nagwa-washing. And like 5 pesos lang yan, like entire motorsiklo na putik-putik yung yung lilin mo. So those are like my first entrepreneurial experience. But I didn't really like business and entrepreneurship isn't really part of the plan. Because when you are the youngest of 10 in your family, you kind of like carry the family's dream na dapat may doktor, may lawyer, ganito, ganyan. So even though like during my time, my siblings worked so hard in their studies as well. Some even sacrificed their dreams so that we can achieve ours. So meron na kaming graduate ng engineering, food technology, may teacher na kami, meron na kaming nurse, and all. So it's getting better for us. And so they were able to afford, or like we were able to afford to send me to a private medical school to take medical technology or medical laboratory science as my undergrad, because I want to become a pathologist. So I
Mhm.
love diagnostic medicine. That's like my passion.
Mm.
And when you go
Uh,
to medical
that's
school,
in
go
Davao
ahead.
or
No. So I studied my elementary school in Sultan Kudarat. My high school still in Sultan Kudarat. I studied. I enrolled in Iligan City. For my college naman.
Okay.
Yes. So in Iligan City, kasi they're like one of the best medic school in the country during that time.
Yeah.
And when you go to a medical school, they would test every single part of your body and like every single part of your body. And that's when I was diagnosed with an incurable medical condition.
Okay.
And because of that, even though I graduated with flying colors in university, even though I nailed my board exam, I couldn't get a job because no hospital in the Philippines would accept me because of my medical condition. And not just in the Philippines, because after like um, passing my board exam in 2015, I received job offers in both in the Philippines and abroad, and I was about to fly in Dubai for a very good offer. Kasi plano ko, I will study for 2 years before I proceed to medicine proper, so that I can finance myself to school. And then yun, I was basically denied of employment, and that's when I said to myself that this is not okay. Like, how can a fully capable individual like me who works so hard in school just to get in this level be suddenly denied of your basic right to make a decent income? And but I can't do anything about it because it's policies. So I know that the system is screwed. But instead of like just complaining how screwed the system is, I decided to go back to working online. And that's how I supported myself back in university. So I started doing data entry. I started doing lead generation. I started teaching English online.
Yeah.
And then through that process, I actually taught myself business skills that I now do competitive analysis, market research, and high level tasks that actually pays money. So
Yes.
that's what I did.
Sorry to cut you off,
Go ahead.
Ran. Medyo, I want to go back to that part na you said about your medical condition. And I remember, parang kinuwento mo yan during your talk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you said na para bang accidentally na-discover yung condition mo because of those tests while you were a student. Kumbaga,
Mm-hmm.
walang symptoms, basta
Yeah.
lumabas lang yung condition.
Yes. So it's I was 16 that time when I was diagnosed. It's hindi kasi like you don't normally do full physical exam like randomly in like the hospital if hindi naman siya required ng company.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just like a student, they don't do full physical exam, but they do that in medical school. And that's when I actually found out about my condition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think I remember you said na yung condition na yon you probably got sa barber shop. Actually, because of that story, whenever I go to a barber shop, naalala ko yung kwento mo, I make sure na nasa magandang barber shop ako, and even when I shave, I get
Right.
fresh yung bagong mga blades. So can you talk more para lang mas maintindihan ng tao yung condition? If you don't mind, if it's okay.
Yeah, totally. It's still like a difficult story to tell, to be honest. Because I can get vulnerable when I talk to the persons with disability community, to the people who shares my condition, because they understand. And normally, it's a difficult situation when you do that in public, because the stigma and discrimination that is attached to it. But yes, let's hope that your platform would help us educate more people and provide us with a safe space to actually be vulnerable. And okay, so I have hepatitis B. So hepatitis B is an incurable disease of the liver, and it progresses to liver cancer or liver cirrhosis kapag hindi ka na-diagnose early. And it's not part of a routine procedure in the hospital. You need to go to the hospital and specifically ask to be tested for hepatitis B. And then, unless you are a pregnant woman, kasi part ng prenatal checkup na ngayon, because the mandatory vaccination for newborn was already approved. And so kailangan na siya. But like for an ordinary adult, if you don't go abroad, if hindi siya nire-require sa'yo, so it's rare for you to actually get that test. So, and what makes the virus, I would say, special is that there's a lot of factors around it. Number one, people confuse hepatitis B to hepatitis A. So, hepatitis A, ito yung foodborne, which means nakukuha mo siya sa pagkain and sharing utensils. But hepatitis A is fully curable. So, magkakasakit ka and all, but you'll get treatment, you'll be fine. On the other hand, hepatitis B is an incurable medical condition. Plus, it is bloodborne. So nakukuha mo lang siya through blood contact and contact to body fluids. It has similar mode of transmission to HIV and AIDS. And because of that, people confuse it to hepatitis A kasi parehas silang hepatitis and to HIV and AIDS kasi marami sila, parehas sila ng mode of transmission. But what makes hepatitis B again so potent, the virus, is unlike HIV, yung human immunodeficiency virus is very volatile. Na if yung temperature ng body mo nag-change or if it is exposed to oxygen, ganun namamatay si virus. Hepatitis B virus is a DNA virus. So it goes into your system. It stays in the liver but goes into your system. And it remains infectious on a surface for 7 days. Infectious. So, yun nga yung example ko na for the barbershop or sa manicure, pedicure, for example, na if customer 1, meron siyang active hepatitis B, which means may ability siyang mag-transmit, kapag yung like nasugatan siya, kunwari nung gunting na ginamit o yung nail cutter, and so yung blood niya pumunta na doon. So that tool is already infectious. Now, in provinces, in rural areas, hindi naman sila nagsisterilize. They don't change the blades and all. So kapag si customer B pumunta doon, walang hepatitis B, tapos same yung ginamit na blade or nail cutter, tapos nasugatan and na-transmit na doon yung virus. Imagine if hindi niya pinalitan yun for a week. So infectious yun siya for 1 week. That's how the virus spread. Actually. So I think that's how I got it because normally majority of the cases in the Philippines is mother to child in transmission.
Yeah.
But my mom doesn't have it, so I don't have any idea. That's my strongest guess kasi for the long time tinago ko yung condition ko until ngayon hindi pa nga ako fully open to my condition. My parents had no idea that I have the virus not until Virtualahan turned 1 during our first anniversary in 2016. Doon lang nila nalaman. And on going back to hepatitis B, there's like 297 million cases of hepatitis B all over the world. And 91% of them are not even aware that they carry the virus.
Oh, wow.
In the Philippines, 1 out of 7 Filipinos ages 20 to 49 years old, our prime working population, have hepatitis B. 91% of them are not even aware that they carry the virus.
Oh, wow.
That's why yung Yellow Warrior Society ngayon and yung World Hepatitis B Alliance, they launched a new campaign called Finding the Missing Millions to encourage people to get tested so that you'll know your hepatitis B status. Kasi every year as well, 12,000 overseas Filipino workers are rejected from jobs for the sole reason that they have hepatitis B.
They don't know na meron sila.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just hepatitis B. So I would consider I'm unfortunately considered to be on the upper 3% na tinatawag nilang inactive carrier. That's why I was never sick and I will never be kasi the virus just stays in my body but it's not causing me harm. I also have very little to zero chance of transmitting the virus.
Okay.
So but even if you are an active or inactive carrier, it doesn't matter in the workplace. As long as you've tested positive, people would treat you differently. Kasi, and you cannot blame them kasi they don't understand.
Yeah.
Even medical professionals themselves would discriminate people with hepatitis B. So how would you expect the general public to actually see it? And that's actually yun yung hugot ni Virtualahan. Kasi that's just hepatitis B. Now talk about people with tuberculosis. People talk about people with real rare lupus, rare medical condition. Talk about people with psychosocial disability. No, nung may severe like broad spectrum autism, may severe depression, anxiety. Talk about people with physical disability. Although we came from very different and diverse background, we share this common pain that it's very difficult to find employment because of a condition we did not choose to have.
Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're okay. You're doing fine, and
You
I'm
go.
sorry if I somehow pushed you to share that, but because at least people will understand the story why you built the company. And at the
Mhm.
same time, awareness na rin. You said nga na karamihan ng tao, they don't know they have it. So, thank you for being open about it. We can edit it out if you want to
No
uh,
worries.
edit it out.
Uh,
No problem with
the
me.
only reason that is holding me back not to actually share it because I also want to protect my team and my family. So they and I want to respect that. To me, I really want to be open and really be a champion for people with hepatitis B. I don't care if people would treat me differently. I'm passed through the
Mm,
severe depression that I've been to. Um, More to me, my focus is actually pushing more to educate more people. Kasi di mo alam, you are discriminating someone with hepatitis B, hindi ka pa pala nagpa-check,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
And
the most important thing is, it's a fully preventable disease.
yeah.
Kasi there's a vaccine available. When I was talking about this to Senator Bam Aquino, we had a conversation. And
Mm,
like I shared to him about that and the reason why we're doing what we're doing at Virtualahan. And then we were talking on that mga Friday, and sabi niya, Ryan, Monday na Monday, I will get all my staff in the Senate tested and have them vaccinated. Thank
mm.
you. And I was like, this is powerful.
Yeah. So, I hope no yung mga listeners natin and viewers will also have themselves checked. Is it
Correct.
something that's easy to do? Just go to
Yes. Just
nearest.
go to the nearest clinic, laboratory, hospital. They have a screening test. I think it normally costs 250 pesos
Mhm.
for the kit, and you can get the results in minutes
Okay. Well,
for the screening.
we'll put yung details of that
Mhm.
in the show notes. Now, let's move forward. So yung we left off when you said that since you hindi ka natanggap sa mga jobs because
Mhm.
of your condition, that's when you focused on online work.
Correct.
So how did you discover yung online work?
So my brother, he is a computer technology graduate, and he works for BPO. And then during that time, mahirap yung mahirap din yung BPO situation, especially if you cannot work on certain days of the day. Like my brother cannot work during Saturdays, for example, because we are Seventh Day Adventist and we go to church on Saturday.
Mm,
So limiting factor yun sa kanya, and na-discover niya while working in a call center the opportunity to work online. And he's been working online for 8 years now. So siya, yeah, like nagsimula lang yun nung siya, like tinuturuan niya kami how to actually make money online. Like nag-outsource siya ng mga lead generation tasks and all. And it opened the doors right after that.
mm. So ano pa rin siya ngayon? Full-time online
Yes,
or
he is our chief training officer at
okay.
Virtualahan, chief training of an employment officer, because he also is one of the founders ng one of the biggest virtual assistant and online freelancer organization in Davao.
Oh, okay.
They are actually one of our partners when we started Virtualahan. We helped developing the curriculum together, the content. Most of our experts came from them because they have years and years of like at least 20 years of combined experience
Mm.
working in the online outsourcing industry.
So now we're talking about Virtualahan. So what is Virtualahan and what made you start your own company?
Right. So, di ba, I told you like I was working online, and I realized that okay, I'm on this situation and I'm not alone, because there's like a lot of people who are experiencing discrimination on a daily basis, and I thought that online work is the perfect opportunity to them. And so that's when the whole idea of Virtualahan started. That why don't I actually build a school? Kasi I mapped out. So anong kailangan nila? One, if they actually want to work online, I said like skills. Kasi yan lang naman yung advantage ko towards other online freelancers, right? I taught myself a lot of skills. And so, but unlike us or many of us, there's no school or like academy. You need to work hard for yourself to actually learn all of this. So and during that time, and I said like, why don't we actually build like a vocational training school? Kaya tinawag ko siyang Virtualahan. It's Virtual Eskwelahan. So to get the whole Filipino element to it, kasi like you can call it virtual school and all, but parang maganda yung Virtual Eskwelahan. Kasi we want to build an online school. Yun siya. And so the whole idea is just to create like a vocational training school. And so we set up a training center. We partnered with Supreme Support Service, yung organization of freelancers. We pitched it to BPI CNAG. And the first time I ever pitched Virtualahan in public is in front of Jaza, Jaime Zubaldi Ayala.
Wow.
Actually, and like we're part of the grand finalists, and that got us some fund to register the business and get our first batch going. So I graduated 2014. I passed my board exam March of 2015. I went into like that dream shift when you need to dream another dream for yourself because I can't be a doctor anymore. From like March into like June to August. And then starting August, I started ideating the whole idea. And October of the same year, we had our first batch ni Virtualahan. January after noon, I flew to Germany to learn more about social entrepreneurship. And then I returned to the Philippines with a much more concrete business model and an actual plan. We also won first place out of 21 contestants from 15 countries in Germany during that time. And that got us into like the international arena. And now, starting from just the whole idea of creating Virtualahan, which is a training school, we now have grown into like building a whole ecosystem. So we created this whole Virtualahan impact formula. Now, what we do is we partner with different persons with disability organizations, corporations, a lot of NGOs, schools as well, and different champions, mga individuals all over the Philippines, and then they refer scholars to us. And then we do background check. We do like the scholar, like potential applicants, yung mga applicants, they complete our enrollment form. That's virtualahan.com/train. And then they take our baselining assessment. And if they pass those two stages, they go to the interview. Then we shortlist those candidates, and the top 20, we give out scholarship with the help of our partner Accenture, Philippines Business for Social Progress. We're able to provide them with scholarships so that they don't need to pay anything upfront. But they have to sponsor a scholar for next year who doesn't get the same opportunity as part of the pay it forward model in Virtualahan. So if they qualify for the training, they go into our 6 weeks intensive digital skills training. Everything is done 100% online. So that's 4 weeks of capacity building and 2 weeks of internship. So for that 4 weeks, we developed a very strong curriculum that combines self-guided learning, live coaching, and clinics. So creating a whole design around that. We call that an adult blended learning, adult blended experiential learning. Kasi even if you're just high school graduate or you have your PhD, even if you're young as 16 or as old as 68, which is the range of our scholars right now, you can go to the program and have the same learning experience. So we created that whole design. And then after they got through the training, we also provide 3 months of employment support. So it's either we directly hire them or we refer them to our employment partners, or we help them sit down with them in their online job applications, from building their resumes, cover letters, video resumes, building the portfolio, and all of that. Everything is co-created with our scholars. And also, many of our scholars, hindi naman sila lahat gusto mag-work online. Some wants to put up their own online business or traditional business as well. So we have employment support plus entrepreneurship support. So entrepreneurship arm naman, that we call that the Virtualan for entrepreneurs. That's 6 weeks of business training, 6 months of business training, then 6 months of business coaching. Then they also are awarded with a starter kit so that they can have their domain and set up their website. They have social media millage. And then they also get access to loan capitals, to markets, and to our executive mentors as well. So
Mhm.
that's the second impact formula. Formula number one is on the skills training. Number two, employment and entrepreneurship. And
Mhm.
number three is on life coaching. So we have an in-house psychologist that developed a one-year life coaching program through our well-being session. So we work with disadvantaged communities, right? So on that well-being session, that is also done every week, every Sunday, and we teach people, or like not really teach, but facilitate conversations and empower people with disabilities and their families to number one, talk about their condition, acknowledge it, and make it part of your identity so that you
Mhm.
can embrace it and then get your full potential. Kasi yan yung nangyari sa akin eh. I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Not because my family or friends did not provided me with the right support, um, but if you've experienced discrimination,
Mhm.
the fear builds up that you felt like you couldn't talk to anyone, and so severe depression kicks in.
Mhm.
And just I told you, my family has no idea that I was sick
Mhm.
until Virtualan turned one during our first anniversary. Dun ko palang sinabi sa kanila.
Yeah.
And so we have that life coaching program to really facilitate that, develop their empathy, resilience, work ethic is integrated, and many, many more soft skills and life skills.
Mhm.
And then that leads us to our fourth info formula, which is in the community building
Mhm.
part, where we do events, we run advocacy campaigns, social experiment, we lobby policy. Now we are pushing for the hepatitis B bill to be passed. Also amending the Magna Carta for people with disability. Because, like for example, right now, psychosocial disability is not taken as seriously in the Philippines. Like lahat naman may depression. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, but you cannot blame them. So
Mhm.
that's the whole Virtualahan impact formula that
Yeah.
summarizes the
Thank you
program.
for giving us an overview of what Virtualahan is, and now I have a better idea of what you're doing for
Mm-hmm.
our countrymen, and I also have a lot of questions because of what I heard. Siguro ito rin yung mga questions ng mga listeners natin and viewers. So with Virtualahan, so it's a virtual eskwelahan
Mm-hmm.
for, so is this open only for people with disabilities, or
Now,
it's open to
yes,
everyone?
everyone can apply to Virtualahan. They goes to the same process.
Mhm.
Everyone follows the same process, but we can only provide scholarship to persons with disability.
Okay,
So
okay.
other people can receive partial scholarship to
Mhm.
us, but we cannot guarantee that they will not pay anything upfront to join the program.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense, no? In terms of you said it's vocational skill. So what is vocational in the virtual sense? So
Yes,
um
so that's the original idea, and now we're more focused into really not just vocational, but like providing high level of competencies to our students, plus the soft skills that's integrated into it. So we focus more in four major industry. That's in data science, so like data management. Now we're venturing into data analytics, cryptocurrency, nano market as well. We have customer service, which the Filipinos are like the best in doing it. We have digital marketing, so that includes email marketing, social media marketing. That also includes e-commerce management, and we also do back office support in terms of accounting and bookkeeping and other professional services.
mhm. So ano na talaga siya, it's talagang virtual skills that can
Yeah,
get you employment
exactly.
from
Yes,
practical
our track.
any
Yes, our
entrepreneur
track is really employment.
based anywhere, di
Mm-hmm.
ba? Kasi it's
Correct.
virtual.
Yes.
So these are really, I think, yeah, high level skills. I'm just curious who does the training, and what kind of experience do they have? So
Yeah. So the one who is helping us develop our curriculum, we have a dedicated curriculum developer who is finishing. She is a professional teacher and she is finishing her PhD in University of Santo Tomas. And we also have people from Accenture who is co-developing the
mm,
curriculum as well. And we have experts from, like, for example, our psychologist is also finishing his PhD in psychology. We have a CPA that does training as well. The rest of the skills, like for example, on our digital tools, we have a guy who's expert in automation with years of experience working for BPO and then transition to working online as well. And that's why the program costs a little bit because of our experts. So the whole program costs 25,000 pesos. So from
mm,
the skills training to the employment support, life coaching, and lifetime membership.
mm,
Um, and because of like the caliber of people that we're also like doing. For example, in our Virtualahan business group, our Virtualahan for entrepreneurs, we have international consultants who's doing business training
mm,
our Virtualahan entrepreneurs.
mm.
So yeah.
So yeah, so you mentioned that it's 25,000. So let's say meron tayong listener or viewer who would like to
Mhm.
join. So is this an online school? They don't need to go to a physical.
Yes, they don't need to go to a physical office to enroll. They can just go to virtualahan.com/train for the first step. Dun yung application form, yung enrollment form, and they can also send us a message in our Facebook page. That's the first touch point that they can actually do. They can also apply for scholarship kasi other than the Accenture scholarship and our other scholarship na ina-offer, Virtualahan also offers scholarship to you. You might not necessarily be a person with disability, but if you are taking care of a person with disability, then you might qualify for other scholarship. If you are a single mother who is taking care of a child with this severe disability, we also took consideration on
Mm,
that. End goal is for people who finds it difficult to find regular employment.
mm,
We try to as much as provide opportunities, but just to any other individuals. Because Virtualahan, we have lawyers, we have CPAs, we have senior VPs of previous companies. We have as old as 68 years old who previously worked for NEDA, for like government. We have those, like we have people from Manila Bulletin, for example,
mm.
applying for the program. So it goes to like the whole range of people, really,
So
but they build that same, like they share the same vision with us.
so you say, you mean those people are applying as students or applying as
Yes,
teachers?
as students.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes,
great. Um,
yes. And what happens kasi is like we also do a lot of train the trainers. So most of our like not most but many of our um, mga coaches ngayon sa Virtualahan are also our graduates.
oh, okay.
Yes, of
Um,
mga previous batch.
so yung for it's open to everyone to
Mm-hmm.
join as a
Enroll.
student. So there's a fee
Yeah.
where you can apply for scholarship. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with
And
I'm
can also apply for us as trainers then kasi
yeah,
di ba na mention mo like yes,
yun actually
people
yung
can also apply as coaches as well, like especially we have a lot of freelancers here who wants to contribute and give back and like have the
yeah.
expertise and skills. Yes, we also do accept
Mm,
right now. We basically are not hiring, right? So we can accept volunteer coaches who would like to mentor one Virtualahan student, for example, who would like to, because every Friday is our clinic time. So clinic time, we invite experts.
Oh.
to conduct one session, just like one session a month, right?
Mm.
One session for our student in a specific skill. Like for example, we don't teach real estate in the curriculum, but if there's like a real estate expert who would like to, teach our students that skills, we definitely would love to get in touch. Like for example, we have Billy Bautista. He's like one of the mga online freelancer influencer in the country. He's one of our coaches. And
Mm.
yung tinuturo niya naman is how to nail your client interview, yung mga client's perspective towards hiring, tapos yung mga best practices in the whole application process.
Mm. Yeah, that's good. Since my community in the Blenders community, we have plenty of experts there, and I'm sure
Mhm.
when they listen to this episode or watch this episode, a lot of them will be interested to give
Mhm.
back because
Yes.
a lot of them are very successful freelancers in
Mhm.
their own niches. So we have
Yeah.
Facebook ads experts,
Mhm. There you
sales
go.
experts,
ClickFunnels. Yeah.
copywriters. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they're interested to give back, pay it
Mhm.
forward. So we can talk
Yes.
after this, and
Mhm.
I'll be glad to talk to them. We'll be having a
Mhm.
meetup this July. If
There you
you're in
go.
Manila, July 19,
I'm in town. Yes.
okay, yeah,
19.
I'll give you the details later. So it will be a good platform for
Mhm.
you to meet our community, and yun nga, I'm sure there will be synergies between us and
Mhm.
virtual. Anyway, we
There
are
you
one
go. Online partnership already.
we are one big family of Pinoy
Mhm.
freelancers who help
There you
each.
go.
So yeah, that's good to hear.
Mhm.
Um, Siguro, my next question regarding Virtualahan is, you mentioned yung students, graduates. Wait, first. So how many years or months does it take
Yeah.
for them to graduate? Is it
6 weeks.
6 weeks? So it's
Mhm.
not parang you choose when you will, or you have the freedom to when you will finish the course.
No.
Hindi, you follow a strict schedule.
Yes. You
Okay.
follow a strict schedule because of the whole design that we create. Kasi hindi siya fully self-learning. You can do that after you finish the first course. Because the General Virtualahan Training Program, that serves as a launch pad for you to kick off your career online. But we also have a lot of mga students who already have experience online. So they still need to go through our 6 weeks program kasi hindi lang naman skills training doon. It's community building and life coaching as well. And after that, they have an option for an accelerator. So the accelerator program, that is now the fully self-learning. So they can go into our virtual classroom and I want to specialize in graphic design. I want to specialize in this. So we
Mm.
bought courses, we created content as well for these different tracks that they
Mm.
can take. And after they complete the Virtual Hand program, we give them suggestions that, hey, your potential based on your grades, based on your performance and exercises might be on copywriting. So this is a track that we would recommend for you to actually focus on.
Mhm.
Because many of them also, or like a number of students also are still confused what do they want to do right after the program, which
Yeah.
is understandable.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. You mentioned takes about 6+ weeks.
Mhm.
And then I think you mentioned earlier na you help them also get employed.
Yes,
So
we have employment
um,
support.
yeah, how does that happen? You have a network of companies who
So
are
it comes in three
hiring,
levels.
mhm,
Mhm.
who are
Level
hiring
one.
virtual
Mhm.
workers. Yeah, who are
Yeah.
companies that are open to hiring virtual workers. So
Yeah. So one is it's either we directly hire them because we also have a mini outsourcing company that we are building. Right
Mm.
now, we are servicing clients in North America and in Europe. Um, if hindi naman sila na-hire directly because we are still a growing social enterprise, we have employment partners that hires directly from us. We
Mm-hmm.
have BPO companies in the Philippines, and we also have partners abroad, and local yung mga lumagunang freelancing business
Yeah.
na homegrown BPOs dito sa Philippines that are also taking in interns during sa 2 weeks na internship, and they also hire the intern that they actually have. So like
Mm.
for example, in the freelance blend community,
Mm.
if diba, the team is growing, if you're like doing a good job, so the client's business diba lumalago.
Yeah.
If you want to take an intern na will stay with you for 2 weeks, tapos you will basically mag-shadow sa'yo to observe you what you're doing, and then if you find that intern to be a good fit in like one of the projects you're handling with your clients, you can hire that person directly. Then it saves you a lot of it saves you a lot of like, because vetting process is already done,
Yeah.
training is already done. You just need to hire that person and position that person for success. Um, Less hassle na sa'yo, plus nakapagbigay ka pa ng opportunity to a person who would normally not get a job without
Yeah.
your support.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that really makes sense. Especially in our community,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them I know are transitioning into building their own agencies.
There you
So,
go.
marami talagang pwedeng synergies between
Mm-hmm.
Virtualahan and Blender's community.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll definitely talk more about that
Yeah.
probably in the meetup or
Mm-hmm.
later. But that's really a good proposition to get interns and to
Yes.
get yun nga, as your freelance business grows,
Correct.
who else to hire than, di ba, fellow Pinoys.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that's really good kasi I also see in my friends na nagpo-post sila na they're looking for interns.
Mm-hmm.
So they can just, get in touch with your team and you
Exactly.
can hook them up with interns. And maybe
Right.
me myself actually isip ko rin yon
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
grow my team. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely talk more about that. Now, siguro na lang let me check again yung you've received a lot of recognition from
Mm-hmm.
international companies and local
Mm-hmm.
companies. So, what do you think made you parang yung story mo, you just started a few years ago and it's parang tuloy-tuloy lang yung success ng business eh. So,
Right.
um, what do you think um, made yung secret of your success
Mm-hmm.
and success of the company?
Um, Yeah, and before I answer that question, so maybe it's good to bring the stats ni Virtualhan right now. So we have now 162 trained skilled workers in 53 cities all over the Philippines with 76% employment rate, earning an average income that is 20 to 30% higher than the minimum wage as a starting salary. So
Mhm.
I think that's because we did a good job in implementing that and actually delivering actual impact and not just talking about impact. That's why we got all those international recognitions and all media features from Bloomberg to ABS-CBN to ANC. And from companies like Google and Lenovo, who's actually recognizing our work. We've been to at least 28 countries all over the world, and we're actually representing the Philippines for the the first ever Global Disability Summit in London from the 22nd of July to the 27th as well. And we're also going to China for the annual meeting for new champions of the World Economic Forum. And all of this, I would say that it totally takes a village. I didn't do it myself. Number one, I have a very strong team who is very, very passionate. about the work that we do and has strong ownership. Na I don't make the decision in the company. Everyone has their own role, and like whatever Josh decide for the training, that's Josh. Like
Mhm.
whatever Rose decides for the training. So that ownership is very strong inside the company, and the more people have that, the more we actually grow. A second is we have a strong mentors. We have mentors who is a New York Times best-selling author in Philadelphia to a CEO of $1 billion impact investment company in Boston, to one of the board members of the BMW group in Munich, to the our chairman actually is the chief operating officer of Asian Institute of Management, Terry Farris, is the chairman of our advisory board. So we have a strong mentor who's actually helping us design a really good business model and connect us to a lot of networks globally, and also our students. The
Mhm.
whole Virtualahan community, we believe so much in the co-creation process. So we created a safe space for our students to actually give real feedback about how good the curriculum is, what worked, what didn't work for them, the employment support, ano yung kulang, ano yung hindi kulang. And everyone is contributing to the development ni Virtualahan. And because everyone has a strong buy-in and actually believes so much in the vision of what we're trying to do, we're able to accomplish all of this in just 2.5 years now.
Mhm. Wow, that's really so I don't know, I'm at awe uh sa batang at a very young age you're really doing so well. I'm really happy for you. Siguro my last question is coming from the discrimination that you experienced, and
Mhm.
you said that it made you somehow become feel somehow inferior,
Mhm.
but now you're talking about yung big companies talking to these big personalities. So
Mhm.
what pushed you, parang what gave you that courage to stand up and um, make something like out of nothing, which is yung virtualahan.
Mhm.
Saan mo hinugot yon, kumbaga?
Number one, I think my parents really did a very good job in putting the value system and the moral compass to us. That really like whatever we do, like my dad always tells me, there's a verse in the Bible that whatever you do it with all your might, do it with excellence. Whatever your hand finds to do it with do it with excellence. And so that has been my trained behavior since I was young. That whatever I do it with all my best and with excellence. And then second, I have a very strong support system from my team, from my family, from my circle of friends, from my mentors. And the hugot is real. The hugot is real. And I don't want people to experience what I have experienced because it is not okay. And we saw that what we are doing is making real impact and is highly scalable. That now we are expanding to indigenous people's community in Sultan Kudarat. We are building an IT school there for the Tiboli community because there's like 30 people in my elementary class. Ako na lang yung single at walang anak. And my only advantage is I've got access to computer and internet. Right? So we're being like Lenovo provided us with the computer. Globe is providing the internet connectivity. The city, like the municipal mayor and the barangay is providing the space. So we're doing the pilot. I'm going to spend my whole month of August there with the community to build that. We're also doing introducing the whole impact formula for former drug addicts in Cebu
Mhm.
as well. Just last night, I had a great conversation with our partner in Iraq who would like to bring it to Iraq to help the refugee community as well.
Mhm.
So just knowing that people believe in the work that you do and you can do so much more because the problem is so big. And waking up in the morning when one of your community members say, "Hey coach, I'm hired. Hey coach, ako pala yung nag-sponsor ng family reunion namin last time." now I received my first salary. Like literally like this uh from June to December I have three maternity leaves, right?
Oh,
Who gets that? But just the joy that you can actually be able to be a source of help for people in this moment, in those times. That's what keeps me going. That gives me so much energy. And there's so much work out there that is left. And so we want to rally people. We want to bring people together and fall in love with this vision because the problem is real and it's super doable to solve. We've done it in a small scale. We can do it in a much bigger scale. And altogether, we can make sure that as we progress as a species, as a human being, we can contribute into building that future of work where nobody is left behind.
I love it. Thank you very much, Ryan, for this very inspiring interview. And I'm
Thank you,
very
Mark.
sure that the people who will hear this will feel the same. Will yung passion mo for what you're doing will feel it, and hopefully in some way they can help you, or they can help somebody uh, yun nga, after listening to this. So, uh, thank you very much again for coming over to the show. Now, before we say goodbye, please give yung listeners natin and viewers your message lang.
Ayun.
Especially sa mga freelancers natin,
Mhm.
newbie freelancers, PWD freelancers,
Mhm.
your message to them, and then how can they get in touch with you and your team?
Perfect. Yeah, so let us help in reimagining and redefining how people see disability, how people see indigenous people's community, how people see former drug addicts, former sex workers, those who did not get the same privilege and opportunity that you are currently enjoying. um, I hope that after listening and viewing this, watching this interview, you would like if you see another person with disability in the street, for example, or like a family member of yours, that your perspective will change. Because if it did, and if you see them as a worthy individual and see their potential as well, then I think we did a good job in this podcast. Second is um, it's always good to not pay it back but pay it forward also.
Mhm.
So and that's always the mindset that we are cultivating to our students, our partners. That's let's all rally. Like you will be amazed what you can accomplish and the impact that you can make to a person's life if you actually dedicate yourself genuinely and wholeheartedly into helping. One of my mentors said, sabi niya sa akin, I love what you're doing because you are basically helping people who might not be able to pay you back. And that
Mhm.
is the best part of helping. Help someone today that you know na hindi niya kayang balikan yung tulong na binigay mo. And I think that grounds us to what makes us human at the end of the day. And to people who don't think um, they deserve opportunities or they can't find that opportunity, who might have given up on their dreams and their life, don't don't. Life is very beautiful. Life is very beautiful. You have a community around you. You just need first to look within yourself and search for that community. Virtualahan is one of them. And we are always here building that whole ecosystem so that each of us can thrive. If you wish to enroll at Virtualahan, best way is to send us a message in our Facebook page and enroll. Using the link virtualahan.com. That's virtualahan.com/train. Train. Um, and then the form is fully accessible for blind and visually impaired as well. So You can get through the whole form without a problem. And then for people who would like to get in touch and wanted to contribute into what we are doing and would help us impact 10 million lives in the next 10 years, get in touch to Virtualahan, admin@virtualahan.com or Ryan@virtualahan.com. We'd love to have you on board.
Okay, thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank
Everything,
you so much, Marv.
yeah, the links that you mentioned, we'll put that in the
Mhm.
blog, the show notes of the blog, freelanceblend.com, so that they can visit your website if they're interested to join.
Mhm.
So we'll put everything there, even your
Perfect.
email addresses that you mentioned. So
Mhm.
Ryan, thank you very much. Ryan,
Thank you, Marv, and to all the blenders and to your listeners and viewers.
you're very much welcome. So Ryan Gersava of virtualahan.com. So thanks again, and I hope to see you in our meetups July, and also to our
Yes,
listeners. So we hope to meet Ryan in person. So let's get
very
in touch.
good.
So thank you, Ryan.
All right. Thank you so much again po. Maraming salamat. Daghang salamat. Gikan sa Davao.